Good morning. My name is Harry L. Corsair, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this fantastic presentation with WFG. WFG stands for World Financial Group. We're in alliance with over 75% Fortune 500 financial institutions, banks, and insurance companies. We've surpassed companies that have been around for years, companies such as Charles Schwab, Smith Barney, and currently we're ranked in the #1 position of between over 8,000 broker dealers within the country. Now, you're about to hear a story of a well-established company with over $548 billion in assets, currently revolutionizing the entire financial services industry. With a philosophy of no family left behind, we're rewriting the record books on how financial products are distributed within the country and within the world. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce to you two individuals who are highly qualified to tell our company story. You're going to be closed out today by an individual who's been in the business for over 20 years. He's married with 2 kids, and talk about a family affair. He's in business with his wife, his mother, and his sister. This individual has built over 24 offices within our organization. He's highly regarded in our industry, and he's helped thousands of individuals and families and has had a huge impact on his community. Mr. Steve Haag. Now, the first individual that you're going to hear from tonight, well, she's the reason I'm in this business today. She's with a background in personal development. She's seen this business from all sides. First, as a supportive spouse, then as a beneficiary, and currently as a highly regarded individual in our company. She's been in the business for over 20 years herself, and she has a best-selling book on Amazon called Motherhood's Not for Punks. Miss Patrina Wisdom.
All right, everybody can hear me? Fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you this morning. Harriel, you did a great job. Thank you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored to be in business with you and looking forward to continuing to develop and do some big things here with the company. I want to thank everybody who's attending this morning because we know it's Saturday morning. It's a holiday weekend. There are so many other places that you could be right now. And we're really honored that you chose to spend it with us. And I guarantee you, you will not regret it. You're going to hear some amazing information that can absolutely change your life if you allow it to, if you take us up on the opportunity to serve. So again, I'm Patrina Wisdom. I'm super excited to share with you a little bit about who we are and what we do. But before I get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a big believer that great information is awesome, right? But it also is equally as important to understand who's delivering the information. So Harriel said, I've been in the business for 20 years. Absolutely true. I started with this company in 2000. In 2000, someone from World Financial Group came into my home with me and my husband, sat down, and they taught us the financial concepts that I get to teach you today. So we actually took action on that, right? Knowledge is power, but only when applied. We took action, we put a financial plan in place for ourselves, and we started following that plan. Where my husband was so excited and fired up about the company and the mission and the vision of what we do here, that he actually decided to start with the company on a part-time basis because he was in upper management at the Las Vegas Hilton at the time, working his buns off, not getting appreciated, not getting recognized. And he knew that at some point he was going to hit a glass ceiling income-wise as well. So he started doing this business part-time. About a year and a half in, he actually replaced his income at the Las Vegas Hilton, and he decided to come full-time with this company. Best decision he ever made. By the way, I'm more of a free spirit hippie type, so I was not interested at all in financial services. I didn't like math. It was like it sounded very technical and boring to me, to be honest. So I was really more of the supporter in our business. And I was very excited about what we did for families. So I also spread that word. Now, when he came full time, however, because I had been an entrepreneur since I was 15, I knew that there was no way this was going to work unless I joined forces with him and came into business with him as well. So together, over the next 8 years, we built an incredible business in Las Vegas, and we were almost at 250,000 in income, getting tons of recognition, helping so many families out in the Las Vegas area. Completely transformed our lives, traveling, homeschooling our children, like just doing everything that we had ever imagined. And then 2008 hit. Now in 2008, I'm sure everybody on this call knows exactly where they were. The market crashes, the mortgage crisis is going on, everything's in complete shambles. And unfortunately, internally, my husband was as well. He actually fell into a depression. He fell into a depression that went in and out for a year. I didn't recognize it as depression. And unfortunately, in January of 2009, my husband woke up one morning, put on his suit and tie, grabbed his briefcase, gave me and my 3 children a kiss goodbye, told us he loved us, and he walked out the door knowing that he wasn't coming home. Yeah. So he went missing for 24 hours. And the next morning I found out my husband had committed suicide. If that wasn't enough, right? A rug pulled out from under me, like life completely changed overnight, blindsided. I also found out I was pregnant on the same day. So now I'm a single mom, not with 3 children, but with 4, have to maintain the household, take care of my children. And I also inherited our business that we had worked so incredibly hard to build. So at that point, previously, I hadn't taken ownership of the business. It was his business. I was the supporter. But in that moment, I was now a beneficiary of what we do for families. And I believed even more in spreading that message and that mission to everyone else. So I stepped in, I took over the business, even though I had never been in the field, didn't come from a financial background, really wasn't 100% sure. But the one thing I had was passion for our mission, and the knowing that what we do for families matters, right? So this is Life Insurance Awareness Month, by the way, for those of you who don't know. And so this is the month that I scream the loudest and the proudest, because I'm a product of life insurance. If it wasn't for this company, if it wasn't for the life insurance, the investments, the financial education that I learned through sitting with someone with World Financial Group, I would be telling you a very different story right now. Now you fast forward, I've been a widow now for 11 years. I've completely continued and improved my lifestyle as a widow with 4 children, still homeschooling, still traveling, still living a life that I absolutely love. And I really accredit that to what we do here with World Financial Group. I have a new relationship. Like, life is lovely, let me tell you. And again, there's so many women out there, so many people, period, that are single moms or widows or whatever it is, widowers. Everybody needs help and everyone needs to hear this information. So our mission here with WFG is to help families from all walks of life build better futures financially. So as I'm going through the information about who we are and what we do, I need you to think about 3 things. Who do you know who could benefit from this message? Because I'll be honest, it wasn't the plan itself that saved my life. It was the financial education that I had so that I knew how to be a good steward of the finances that I had when my husband passed. So who do you know who could benefit from this message? Can this information help you and your family financially? I mean, we're in this pandemic, you know, things are topsy-turvy. People are losing their jobs, depleting their savings, if they had any. You know, things are a little crazy right now, and we don't know who to go to for help. Well, you know now, all right? Are you intrigued by this business? It's not the financial products that helped me in my life most. What's really transformed my life is the opportunity to actually be in business and have great mentorship and great learning and access to all the products and services that I would need to help keeping my family moving forward financially. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about who we are as a company, because we have strength on our side. We are a strong company. We've been around for a long time. We're going to continue to be around for years and years and years and decades to come. So World Financial Group, we're part of an organization called Aegon. Aegon has $548 billion assets, and they're based out of the Netherlands and Asia. So they decided they wanted to have a presence here in not Las Vegas. So rather than coming here and building something new, they decided to acquire Transamerica and World Financial Group, and we became a family. So we have all of the strength of selection within our company, and we're taking over the market. So when it comes to strength of selection, one of the things that I absolutely a person that liked sales, right? Most of us don't like sales. But the beauty here is I don't have to be in sales. I'm in service. So I get to sit down, find out the needs of my clients, and then go shop nationwide, the Pacific Lives, the Transamericas, the Voyas, and hundreds of other companies. And I get to pick the products and services that are going to be best for my client and get them where they need to go. Whether it's fixed annuities, life insurance, indexed universal life, everything under the sun financially. So with that, I want to talk to you a little bit about how do we build financial independence. There's four cornerstones to building that financial independence. One is protection. You want to protect the assets and the income that you currently have, as well as all future assets and income. You want to make sure that you're growing your money, right? And that you're outpacing inflation so that your money is holding its value. You want to keep it safe, right? People think, oh yeah, it's cool that I'm in the stock market. Great, you have all the highs and all the lows of that market. So we want to make sure you're retaining your wealth and protecting you from the downside. And then also tax advantages, right? There's two ways to become wealthy. You make more money and you save more money. You get your money working for you. So taxes is another way that we can keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket. All right. So now let's go into how to accumulate wealth. So many of you may have heard of the compound interest, the concept of compound interest, or the rule of 72. The way that this works is that Einstein came up with this formula to help you understand how your money is going to grow and how long it's going to take to double. So here's the example. I'm going to gift you with $10,000 because I like you, say thank you. But I say you cannot spend the money, you have to save it. Where would most people save that money? In a bank, right? And the bank will give you less than 1% earnings on your money. But let's just pretend they're going to give you 1%. According to Einstein's formula, you take 72, you divide it by 1%, and it's going to take 72 years for your $10,000 to turn into $20,000. Is that awesome? Everybody say no. But what if we could get you a 10% interest rate that you're earning? Now, divided by 10, is going to be 7.2 years. So at 29, you put the 10,000 in. At 72, you're going to pull 640,000 out. Much better, right? That's a great supplemental retirement income. But here's the kicker. This concept works the other way. So if you have credit cards and you have an interest rate of doubling again every 7.2 years. So on the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit more about the different ways to invest your money. We really need to get our head around how we're spending and how we're saving our money. So these are a few ways that you can actually save and invest your money. We have our fixed accounts, which everybody knows about, right? They're safe. It's usually your checkings, your savings, things of that nature, but it's not growing very much, right? You can go visit it. You can pull it in and out. It's kind of awesome, but it doesn't really grow. It's not going to build you wealth. You can put it in the variable market, but the variable market, I don't know about you, but when I look at that picture, I see a heart attack, right? It's going up, it's going down, going up, going down. Not the most comfortable for most people. Well, what if I told you that there's an index strategy that you can use where you can get the upside of the market, but be protected from the downside? And now, instead of your money growing like a heart attack, it starts to grow like a stair step, because when the market is up, you earn money. When the market dips down, you lock in, you plateau, and then you grow again when the market rebounds. So we'll talk a little bit about that later, or you can get with the person who invited you and they can go into it a little bit deeper. This is just an overview. So now let's talk about how you would like your money to grow, right? Not only the strategy, but tax-wise. So there's 3 different places that the government allows you to park your money. One is the tax now strategies. Again, your savings, your checkings, your certificate of deposits. That's post-tax money that you're putting in. As your money grows, you get a second tax. And then when you go to take your distribution, you get a third tax. So that money's being taxed 3 times. Did you know that? Probably not. We have a tax later category. That's your 401k, IRAs, fixed annuities, savings bonds, usually things that you get through your employer. And it sounds great. Yeah, I'll pay my taxes later, right? So this is pre-tax money that you're investing and you're letting it grow. But now you get to 59, 60, 63 years old and you go to take your money, and what happens? You have to pay the tax, not on the 10,000 that we originally invested, but maybe on 400,000 that it grew to. So if you were a farmer, let me ask, and I gave you $10,000 worth of penny seeds, and I said you can pay your taxes on the 10,000 in penny seed, or you can pay taxes on the $400,000 harvest, which would you choose? Most of us would pay on the seeds, right? Meanwhile, most of America has their money in the harvest, the tax me later category, all right? So that's 2 pieces. But what if I also told you there's a whole other category that most people don't know about? The wealthy do, because the wealthy keep getting wealthier and the poor folks keep getting poor, right? And so the tax advantage category is post-tax money, just like your tax me now accounts that you're investing. But guess what? In those Roth IRAs and in that cash value accumulation of life insurance, it doesn't get taxed as it grows. And when you take your distribution, no tax. So one tax, one time, and on the smaller amount. So in saving, you want to make sure to consider the effects of taxes on your money as well, right? So we're going to move on to the next slide. And I honestly believe that most people, you know, they don't plan to fail, especially financially, right? It's just that we fail to plan. And part of that is we don't know where to go, or maybe we feel like we can't afford to go seek the advice. Well, I've got great news for you. Here with World Financial Group, we do what's called a financial needs analysis. And this is how we help families. We look at your cash flow. We say, hey, do you need to earn more money or just manage your expenses better? Usually both, right? We look at your protection, your life insurance, your long-term care, your retirement even, right? Is your future assets and income protected? And we want to make sure that we find out your financial independence number and that you're working towards reaching that goal, right? We look at your emergency fund. Do you have 3 to 6 months worth of income and expenses saved in case of emergency? When COVID hit, most people didn't even have $1,000 saved, right? We want to help with that. We want to help you build your wealth, outpace inflation, reduce taxation, help you to get out of debt. How many people do you know who are living off their credit cards right now? We have solutions for that. Again, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And then lastly, we want to preserve your wealth. So once we start to build up that financial house, we want to make sure that it's protected and that you're able to transfer that to your heirs. But we do it all for free because we are non-captive. We do not work for any specific company. We can go shop the market, serve you, and then the companies make sure that we're taken care of. So we get to function much like a nonprofit without being a nonprofit. And with that said, I'm super excited to introduce our next speaker because he's going to talk about the business side of what we do. I talked about what we do for families and our clients. He's going to tell you about the opportunity that exists here. He is a father. He is a man of faith. He is an incredible man of business. I've been in business with him for a long time. Him and his family are absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to introduce now and turn the time over to Mr. Steve Haag.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Patrina. Every time I hear your message and really what you stand for, it really deep down inside, I resonate with it. And I'm just so grateful that all of us are here today. And there's a reason why we're all here today. And I want you to just think about that. You see, at the end of the day, we meet people and people are put in our lives for the right reason. And if you're a believer in that, and if you align, like for me, every day when I wake up, in my prayers, I ask the Lord to bless me, to be able to reach out and help bless more people and to work through me and with me through the day. And I'm just so grateful because as, we progress through life, the decisions that we make shape our future. And literally, like the decisions that all of us make over the next 6 months, what we decide to do or what we decide not to do can shape the next 5 years of our life. And so what I want to do is just kind of share with you a little bit of why I do what I do. And you're going to see a picture of my family up here. And on the left side of the screen there is actually when I first started in business back in 1990. 21 years old. I just turned 21. And my mom is there sitting next to me with the blonde hair. And then that man sitting next to her is a gentleman by the name of Dan Charlier. And Dan has changed not only my life and our family's life, but lives of thousands and thousands of people. And he's been my personal mentor since day one. And I'm just so grateful that he came into our life and he taught me leadership. He taught me the ability to resonate and help other people on a greater level. In the middle there is my beautiful, amazing wife, Jerry. And, we've got our two, I'm just so grateful to be a dad. And I'm just, it humbles me every day to have a son like Dax and a daughter like Mila. And you can see our dog there. I think he's the most poised person in the picture. He's family, so he's not really a person, but he is to me at least. So, he has just a lot of energy, let me tell you. And then on the right, you can see we like to have big events and fun, and we really enjoy that. And when I started here in business, I difference to help other people. And for me, the money, it was not my primary focus. But I started here in business part-time for 2.5 years. So I was a slow, starter in business. I was wrapping up with school. I had my regular job working in the restaurant industry. But what's interesting is I was studying computer engineering. And I actually got a job offer, and I was there 2 days, and I'll explain why. I went there, I was 20 years old. I got company benefits. I was making a $45,000 a year salary. They gave me a company car, and back then a pager. And I was going to be in charge of fixing computers. So whenever, those of you that are tech people, you know what a blue screen is when the computer, crashes on you. And what happened was I was going to be in charge of fixing computers and networks. And when I went there my first day on the job, I started to kind of assess the other people that were working there and the people that have been there 5-10 years. And I asked myself one question: are they happy? Are they enthusiastic about being there? Do they like what they do? And when I started, talking to people, I realized that most people there at that job were stressed out. They couldn't wait to get home, and they were making okay money, but majority of the people there were happy and enthusiastic to be there. And so for me, I said, if I stay in this career long term, I am looking at my future. I can look at my future by seeing the people that have been there 5, 10, 15 years. And that gave me an indication of what my life would look like. And I said, do I want to live that life? And I said, no, I want to be in a state of abundance where I can help change a lot of people, make a difference in the world, and where I could build something where eventually I get my time back and I make good money. And see, money is not everything, but it's up there with oxygen. When you don't have money, because I remember there was a point in my life where I could barely put a couple gallons of gas in my car. And there was a point in my life where I was trying to figure out how to make ends meet. But what happened is that once you get the money thing out of the way and you find a way to build wealth and you don't have to worry about money, what begins to happen is you get your time back. And time is the most precious thing that we all have. We are all blessed with 24 hours in a day. And so I want you to think about, are the things that you're doing today and the decisions that you're making and the actions that you're taking, are they setting you up for really what you want to accomplish in your life? And so for me, I asked myself a question. I said, look, if my life, right, over the last 5 years, I took an inventory of my life, and I want you to just do this with me real quick. Like, look at your life the last 5 years and ask yourself one question. if the next 5 years in the future end up to be the same as the last 5 years, will you be happy and will you be fulfilled? And for me, when I asked that question, when I started here, it was like, no, I wanted a lot more. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be a lot happier. I wanted to be able to achieve a lot more. And so I realized I had to make certain decisions that were going to shape that future that I desired to accomplish. And so that's really, really important. And that's when I started in business, but I was a slow starter. If you look at like the race between the turtle and the hare or the rabbit, right? The rabbit goes quick, but the turtle had staying power, and the turtle never gave up. The turtle never gave in, and the turtle just kept on the path. And that's what I did. I never let go. I just stayed consistent and I stayed focused. And that gave me the ability to have my time back. And so when you look at this slide right here, I want you to think about a business platform. The challenge in the world is most businesses take a lot of capital. Like if you want to open up a franchise or a business or a brick and mortar store, there's a lot of overhead expense, operating costs, payroll costs, dealing with franchise fees, dealing with so much overhead. Because at one point I was looking at buying a franchise, and I realized it was making sandwiches, and to literally to pay the monthly overhead, I did the math that I'd have to average roughly about 80 sandwiches a day just to break even. And for me, that's not what I wanted, right? That's a lot of sandwiches to pay a monthly overhead, right? So when I look at this here, what I love about our platform, number one, on the left side of your screen in the brown gray area, it says the need has never been greater. You look at what you heard earlier today. You see, it's so powerful because business is nothing more than supply and demand. And when there's a big need, a big demand, and if you can develop something to serve the demand of the masses on a big scale, in business, that's where you can truly generate intergenerational wealth, not only for you, but for generations to come in your family. And so the need has never been greater today. There's more people today with their back up against the wall. They're trying to figure out what to do. They want to make sure that their future is protected. They're looking for another way to build income. And so I believe that the timing could not be better. Looking back the last 22 years, it's like right now, at this point in time, going forward, the next 5-10 years is going to be the greatest need for what we do. And so what we're doing in our business right now is we are expanding across state lines. We are growing our bandwidth so we have a bigger outreach. Because if it's only me and I'm running everything, I only can see 2, 3, 4 families a day. But let's just visualize, like, what if you had 7 to 10 key people that could learn our industry? Now together as a whole, you might have 200 or 240 hours in a day as a team working together. And the principles that we stand for is the mission comes first of helping families. The team comes second, right? Where we help each other out, and individual comes last. And I know as long as we take care of the mission, we take care of one another as a team, that individually we will all be taken care of. So in our industry, I mean, there's no financial experience necessary. You can try this part-time. That's how I started. You can work now from the comfort of your home. There's no time clock. In literally unlimited earning potential. And think about this, like when I was at my computer engineering job, there was a limit to what I could earn. Like if you have a career or a job right now, if you went to your boss and knocked on the door and said, hey, what does it take for me to make as much or more than the CEO of the company? They would have laughed at me, right? They'd probably say, get back to work. And here, what I love is there are people in our business that have actually earned more than the CEO of our company. In fact, we have many CEOs, because here you can build your own business, you can build your own company within the company where you're the CEO. And so there's no cap on what you can earn. And my favorite one on this slide is leadership development and mentoring. You see, to get anywhere in life, the best way to do it is find somebody that has achieved what you're looking to achieve, that's willing to coach you and mentor you and guide you and encourage you and praise you and lift you up. And when you have that mentorship and that person's willing to lift you up, there's something that is extraordinary when that happens. And that's the quickest way to reach success, is find somebody who's achieved it, that's willing to teach you how. But you have to give them permission to coach you. You have to give them permission, right, to put their faith into you, and you have to put your faith into them. So that we have strength on our side with all the big carriers and, you know, the history of our company, which you heard of. And again, the power of choice. Rather than representing a company to a family, what we do is we flipped it. We represent the family to the industry so we can look at all of our options. So I don't know about for you, but for me, I want to know what all my options are. And we have business expansion happening right now. So from like the comfort of my home, yesterday, I was zooming across the nation. I was zooming out in Maryland. I was zooming out in Virginia. I was zooming in Texas, Montana, and California. And so the way of we've done business in the past is I'd have to book my flight, my hotel, my car. And it would take me 2 days at a minimum to do like meet with 3 clients in another state because of the hotel and all the travel. Now I can do it from the comfort of my home. You can do it from the comfort of your home. We can make a bigger impact in a shorter compressed time period. We have our WFG business system. That's the infrastructure that runs our business. And then of course, an equal opportunity for all. If you look at it, I love the fact that people from all different backgrounds. I mean, you look at Dan, my mentor, he came here to the United States from Haiti when he was 7 years old. And we are truly the land of opportunity. And I do not take it for granted. And we are so blessed, you know, in this world. And I see so many people that don't take action with the opportunity that's in front of them. And here we want to help people take action. We want to help people get results. We have, we're growing an underserved market. The financial needs analysis software is powerful. We have a lot of very, very amazing companies that we're affiliated with, like the Nationwide's, Fidelity. We work with Prudential. We work with Transamerica, literally over 100 companies. So that's pretty awesome. And then we do a lot of recognition. We have lots of events. And so we're doing our big event next month. And if you decide, you know, and make a decision to partner up with us, and if it's the right match, you know, I would highly encourage you to immediately register for that. It's going to be extremely powerful. Actually, it's at the 3rd week of this month. My apologies. But anyways, then we have technology and business tools. So moving forward on the next slide, I wanted to just kind of go over a couple of things because, like I said before, money's not everything, but it's up there with oxygen. So I want you to understand when you look at these slides, these are company averages. And I want you to also understand that 85% of the people that work with us are part-time. So I want you to look at, like my previous career, there was part-time people and there was full-time people. But what was the average earner that was part-time at the company that I used to work at my job? And it was a lot lower than these numbers. And here's what's neat is that you can make, you know, low 6 figures or high 6 figures. You can even scale into the 7-digit range. We even have people in our organization that make over 8 digits a year. And so, you know, wherever you want to have your target, you can make happen. And there's a chassis, there's a platform to do that. And there's 5 ways we earn income. And I'll just share this with you. So number 1, personal income. That's how I started from 21 to 23, beginning of my 23rd year of life. I was part-time and I made money basically personally helping clients. My first year I made like 25 grand part-time. My second year was like about 47 grand. My 3rd year in business is when I came full-time at the age of 23 and I cracked over 6 figures, but I only was making income from what I personally did with clients. I didn't have a business. I didn't have a team. I wasn't expanding. We have agency income where you can build your own company or your own agency within the company. And that gives you business passive income. Just like in real estate, there's a real estate broker and she might run the office and she might have 10 or 15 real estate professional agents that work in the office. The broker is going to make more money than the real estate agent for 2 reasons. 1, they're usually on a higher contract. And then number 2, they get a percentage of the entire office production. So you have the ability to be on that higher contract and scale your own office, whether it be virtual or if you want to build a brick and mortar style office, you can do either or both. And so it's pretty awesome. Then we have expansion income where you can expand across state lines. We've got bonus income. The company takes 7% of the entire company's profit margin between Canada and the United States. And every single month, they give 7% of the profits in the form of a bonus monthly to everybody that qualifies to get into the bonus pools. So can you imagine getting a pro rata share of the entire company's profit margin through a bonus every month. And those can be pretty substantial bonus monthly income. It's pretty awesome. And then of course we have recurring income from our book of business when, you know, we continue to get paid to serve our clients. The way we generate income is we don't charge a fee for that financial analysis. When we do a plan for a family and we introduce them and we find what is in their best interest as far as a product or a program, when we refer the business to Prudential or Fidelity or to Transamerica, those big companies pay us when we refer the business over. So I'm not asking my client to pay me directly for what I do. And it's more of an educational aspect about helping to transfer financial literacy so people understand. I mean, a lot of the stuff that Patrina went through, we don't learn in school. We don't learn it when we go to the bank. It's just not taught to the public. But the upper wealth has access to this knowledge and they have advisors. Most people have 0 or 1 advisor. But most wealthy individuals have 2, 3, or sometimes even 4 different advisors. So if you already have a financial advisor or somebody that's working with you, my recommendation is, look, you know, it might be important to look at other ideas and see what we do from a client level, because our intention would not be to disrupt what you have in place. But if we could enhance it or work on other things outside of the scope of what you already have, I mean, wouldn't it make sense to at least, you know, take a look at what we do on a client level? And once you see that, you'll genuinely know what we do. It's extremely powerful. And there's no, you know, charge or fee that we charge for that. Most financial advisors charge a fee because it's a filter. And I'll explain. If you don't have, you know, 100,000 in the bank, you're probably going to say, I don't want to write a check for $1,500 to do a financial consultation. And that's what a lot of advisors charge. The reason why they do that is it filters out the people that have money from those that don't, because most advisors want to work with people with a lot of assets. And so if you don't have the money to pay for that fee, generally speaking, they filter you out because you're not going to be a large account. Here, we don't filter people out. We want to filter people in because we want to help all walks of life, whether somebody that just got married or they're starting from scratch. Maybe you have a family that just went through a bankruptcy and they're trying to get a new footing and build up upon it. Or maybe a single parent, or maybe somebody that's about to retire, or somebody that's already in retirement. We help all walks of life. So we can't charge a fee to do what we do if we genuinely want to help all walks of life. And that's one of the things that we stand for. On the next slide here, these are some examples. These are our field advisory board. And what's neat is as you grow in business, we actually get together as a team to help make decisions on behalf of the company and give our input. And really, we also do a lot of trips and we come up with incentives and we travel the world together. It's a lot of fun. And a lot of my colleagues here, you know, I've personally mentored or we've crossed, you know, mentorship together, and we make a lot of decisions together. And what's neat is we are looking for the new people that can join us and build up into that field advisory position and the leadership council where we can together make decisions and navigate us to the future. On the next slide, a couple of different examples. This lady and her husband, Laura and Franco, amazing people. Franco comes from the automobile industry. Laura comes from the real estate industry. She was an expert in real estate for many years. And literally, she fell in love with our mission. And about 6 years ago, she transitioned out of real estate and she came here with us, you know, and now they've got their time back. You know, they're making 6 figures plus, and they're growing. And like Laura and Franco right now, I believe are on the trajectory. Within the next 3 years, they're going to be earning over $500,000 a year in income. And it's pretty neat to see that. But she fell in love with what we do for people. And that's what we're about. The next person here, Natalie and Ryan Plant, amazing family. I'm very close with them. I've known them for well over, geez, it's got to be about 15 or 16 years now. But, you know, Ryan was a pizza delivery guy. That was his background. I mean, check out the cool tie-dye shirt he's wearing. And then you got them, their kids right there. And of course, they like to go out and have fun. You see them all dressed up. But at the end of the day, they've been able to homeschool their children. They've been able to get their time back. They've been able to really make a difference for their loved ones and their family. And, you know, they bring in over $250,000 a year. And on the next slide here, you're going to see another couple. We'll get to the next slide here in a second. Okay. Let's see here. Anyway, so I don't know what the delay is, but it's all good. Shannon, if you're there, if you can go to the next slide. Perfect. So Jeff and Michelle, Jeff used to work as an executive for Target stores. And what's interesting about Jeff is he actually saw our business. He was comfortable at his career because he was making good money, multiple six figures with Target. And then something changed in the corporate world, and 7 years went by. He was not interested in what we do in the beginning. 7 years went by. There was a disruption in what corporate was telling him to do. And he decided, you know what, I'm done. He came into business with us. And now he and his wife, Michelle, they have a beautiful daughter. As a family, he makes over $500,000 a year. But you know what he's got? He's got his time back. And they do lots of traveling together. They're able to really, really enjoy life. So rather than going on a vacation, they just travel the world maybe 5, 6 times a year, and it's part of their lifestyle. See, a vacation is when you vacate from something, but when you build it into your lifestyle, when you got your time back, when you're making money and you have time, you have something called lifestyle. And it's pretty awesome to see the impact that they've made. They're very close to my family, just a wonderful, wonderful couple in business together. So my last slide is this one. And I just want you to just think about this for a second. On the left, in the gray box, it says, do you know from hearing this message? Number 2, can this information help you, your family, or your friends financially? And then, are you intrigued with this business? Today was a general overview. I want to be clear on that. We did not have time to get through specifics. The purpose of today was to give you a general overview, see if you have an interest. If your interest was piqued, we want to give you a chance to meet with somebody one-on-one on a Zoom, and we can dive deeper through the logistics, the details, all that kind of stuff. And then from that point, we do what's called an interview to see a little bit more about you, like your background, your upbringing, what intrigued you most with our business. If you were to like seriously, give this a business a try, part-time or full-time, why would you be doing it? What do you want to accomplish from it? And that's very important to know why. And what are you looking to accomplish? And then what we'll come up with is if it makes sense, and if you feel like you'd be able to contribute a lot to what we do, and we feel good about you and what your intentions are, then together we can mutually make the decision to move forward. And, for me personally, I'm very selective with who I work with, just because I want to maintain high standards. I want to be able to work with the right people. And so our business is not for everybody. But, if it's something that intrigues you, you might want to take a look at that, either at a part-time level or a full-time level. Now the top right there says client. And I would highly encourage you to basically set up a time to see what we do on a client level. You can see our software, you can see what we do for families. And if we can help reduce your debt, reduce your taxes, reduce your cost of insurance, and basically find the money hidden underneath the stones, and then help you put that money to work in the right vehicles to protect your future and build some financial foundation for your future, or if you already have things in place, if we can improve it or even make it better, would there be any reason why you would not want to look at that? And so right now we're going to pull up a poll, and if you can just take a few minutes to fill this out, and it's very simple. It's only one question, and I want to go through it with you together. So if you're interested in learning about our financial solutions from a client level, you're going to check on the top box. If you're interested in learning more about business and our business platform and a career path with us, whether it be time or both. For me, I checked both. I wanted to see what we did. And once I knew that it really made a difference, and once I understood the business platform and how that worked, and if everything was aligned with my values and with what I was looking to accomplish, and it meshed well, then I knew I could do this. And so what this will do is after today, probably maybe in the next 10, maybe 20 minutes, the person that invited you is going to just give you a quick phone call. And then that way you can chat with them and set up a time to meet one-on-one. And that will most likely be scheduled in the next couple of days. So in the meantime, I want to wish you all just an amazing weekend. God bless to all of you. And thank you for joining us today. We're going to leave up this poll just for a couple of minutes and we'll end right now. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great one.